Hi, welcome to my channel to listen to sinister stories. Working at McDonald's during my high school years, I encountered several unsettling experiences that have left a lasting impression. One particular incident, about a month into my employment, still sends shivers down my spine. It was a seemingly ordinary afternoon, around 5:00 p.m. The restaurant was bustling with customers, and I was diligently taking orders behind the front counter. Amidst the usual chaos, a man approached the counter. Instead of placing an order, he brazenly demanded my phone number. Taken aback by his audacity, I promptly declined his request. His reaction was unexpectedly intense. He seemed genuinely angered by my refusal, storming off without ordering anything. In that fleeting moment, I detected an unsettling air of creepiness that made my skin crawl. As the hours ticked on, the restaurant grew busier, and I found myself engrossed in the demands of the job. It wasn't until around 8:00 p.m. To my dismay, it was the very same man from before. He approached the counter, this time offering an apology for his previous behavior. Caught off guard, dismay, it was the very same man from before. He approached the counter, this time offering an apology for his previous behavior. Caught off guard, I responded with a polite reassurance that it was fine. Sensing an opportunity, he persisted, yet again in asking for my number. Maintaining my boundaries, I firmly declined, point blank. Undeterred, he then suggested hanging out and getting to know each other better. Wary of his intentions, I declined once again and uttered a fabricated response about being too occupied with work. Frustrated, the man's expression soured, leaving no doubt that his anger simmered just below the surface. With an indiscernible utterance under his breath, he stormed out of the establishment, feeling a mixture of relief and trepidation. I continued working diligently. Little did I know, dread consumed me, as I dreaded the prospect of encountering him once more. To my initial relief, he bypassed the line and sat down at a table towards the back of the restaurant. Attempting to focus on my work, I tried my best to push aside any thoughts of his presence. As the hours wore on, I occasionally glanced up, only to find him still sitting there, his gaze fixed on me. The busy atmosphere allowed me to divert my attention, attending to the stream of customers, almost forgetting his unnerving presence. However, my respite was short-lived. On one of my glances, he was nowhere to be seen. Panic began to bubble within me, questioning his whereabouts. I fervently hoped he wouldn't decide to join the line for ordering. Compelled to complete my duties, I battled to suppress the encroaching unease. Time passed, and mercifully, he hadn't emerged to place an order. Relieved, I assumed he had left. The final hour approached, and the atmosphere in the restaurant grew eerily tranquil. Finally, my shift ended. I clocked out, eager to escape the clutches of the past hours. Stepping out into the night, darkness enveloped the parking lot. My car awaited me, parked in solitude. However, my sense of security swiftly eroded as I heard approaching footsteps from behind. Turning around, my heart plummeted as I recognized him, the man I had hoped never to encounter again. Instinct propelled me into action. Fear surged through my veins as I sprinted towards my car, desperate to evade his pursuit. The sound of his footsteps reverberated through the silent night, closing in on me. Panic-stricken, I fumbled in my pocket, my hand wrapping around the cold, comforting grip of the pepper spray. As his presence loomed ever closer, I unleashed a spray straight into his face, disorienting him momentarily. Seizing the opportunity, I plunged into the safety of my car and swiftly called the police. With adrenaline coursing through my veins, I sped away, leaving him shrouded in the darkness. To my immense relief, I never saw that man again. Grateful for the presence of the pepper spray that fateful night, I was acutely aware of the peril that lurks in unexpected places. Reflecting on that spine-chilling episode, it serves as a haunting reminder to remain vigilant, even in seemingly familiar surroundings. One fateful night, after a grueling day at work, ravenous hunger compelled me to the nearest McDonald's. It was around 10:00 p.m. And few establishments remained open in the desolate commercial area. This particular McDonald's, conveniently along my homeward route, appeared desolate. Only a couple of cars sat in the parking lot as I stepped out of my vehicle and made my way inside. Entering the restaurant, I immediately keenly felt the eerie absence of other customers. The solitary employee greeted me and I placed an order for a much-needed Big McMeal. Impatiently waiting, I filled my drink and glanced around, only realizing that I was completely alone. Within minutes, my order was ready and I collected it. Eager to eat my hunger, I departed while navigating the dimly lit parking lot. However, a sinister surprise awaited me. A car, a Ford Escape of older vintage, was parked so closely to my vehicle that I could not access my driver's door. Despite the abundance of empty spaces, they had deliberately boxed me in. Disconcertingly, their car's engine hummed ominously, indicating that occupants remained inside. Annoyance surged within me, but I chose the path of least confrontation. Circumventing the obstruction, I approached my passenger side where ample space permitted my entry. Nonetheless, frustration gnawed at me as I unlocked my car, poised to climb over the front passenger seat to reach the driver's position. It was during this arduous maneuver that I glimpsed the occupants of the neighboring vehicle. My blood ran cold as I took in their grotesque visages, both adorned with eerie clown masks. Fatigue coursed through me, leaving me devoid of amusement. Ignoring my apprehension, I commenced starting my engine, but my heart skipped a beat as the person beside me in the passenger seat of the adjacent car began rolling down their window. Refusing to lower my own window, I apprehensively observed. To my astonishment, he retrieved what appeared to be a crowbar, bewildering me further. Without warning, he swung it forcefully at my driver's window, prompting a deafening thud. Remarkably, fortified glass withstood the blow, leaving me momentarily dumbfounded by their malevolent intent. Recovery from the initial shock was swift, triggering my survival instincts. With determination, I shifted my truck into reverse while flooring the accelerator, propelling myself out of harm's way before they could strike again. Maneuvering onto a nearby busy street, I pushed my vehicle and myself to the limits, narrowly escaping their reckless pursuit. The tension-filled air was pierced by the screeching of tires as their vehicle struggled to keep pace. Only the fortuitously deserted streets allowed me to maintain my lead, narrowly avoiding their clutches. An overwhelming sense of relief swept over me as I emerged unscathed from the nightmarish encounter. McDonald's faded into the distance, its parking lot, a haunting reminder of the lurking dangers that mask the ordinary. From that night on, I remain acutely aware of the evil that can swiftly emerge from the shadows, etching caution into the depths of my consciousness. Bushes for scenery and landscaping, and these guys drove their SUV right into the rocks. It wasn't that bad of a crash at all, but it was enough to get them stuck and they couldn't drive out of it. I could see the guys then getting out of their car. As I was driving off, I was able to get away, and I called the police and reported the incident. After that, I went home. I'm glad that those guys ran into the rock, or they likely would have chased me for a while. Looking back at it, that incident, I don't know what caused it. I have no idea why they chose me or how I thought maybe they had followed me from work, but I didn't notice them before. I feel like it was just a random attack. Hopefully those guys don't do anything like that again. For some background on this story, I'm a female and live with my roommate in an apartment complex. We are both terrible at cooking and I order McDonald's all the time, probably way more than I should, but I like it so much. Plus they're open really late at night. It's very convenient. I'm often up late from work as well, so there's something that happened like 2 months ago whenever I ordered McDonald's. I would use the mobile app and then go and pick it up a few times. I had it delivered, but most of the time I go get it. The McDonald's is only like a 2 or 3 minute drive from my place. I would say get it like twice a week on average. One night it was really late, like 11:0 p. And I ordered some food from McDonald's for my roommate, and I use the app like always. And I get free stuff all the time because of it. So I left our place by myself and I got to the McDonald's a short time later. It was very quiet, but there were a few other people there. After going inside, I made it to the shelf where they have mobile orders that you can pick up. I found my name and picked up the bag and then left. I drove back home, and after getting back in my place, opened it up. It had the food, but then had something else that was really strange. It was a note that was handwritten, and I had no clue why it was in there. I read it out of curiosity and realized that it had my name on top of it. This is what the note said. I'm to join you. I thought this had to either be a joke or some really creepy guy. I showed it to my roommate, and we were both not sure. My best guess was that it was an employee, but I really had no clue. I never noticed anybody watching me when I got it. I felt like I probably shouldn't go back there for, but only a few days later, I completely forgot. I ordered McDonald's again late at night. This time I was by myself and my roommate was gone. It wasn't until after I'd ordered it and I was leaving to pick it up that I remembered what had happened before. I was a little bit nervous about it. But I decided to go. I left my apartment and drove to the McDonald's. When I got there, I went inside and looked all around. I didn't notice anybody watching me or anything like that. I picked up my order and then walked back to my car. When I got inside, I checked inside the bag for another note. Then I saw there was another one. And I read it. The note said, "Mind if I join you tonight?" I looked around the parking lot and didn't see anything strange, so I left. This was really weird. I was checking in my mirror, but nobody followed me or anything. When I got back to my place, I looked over my shoulder until I had made it inside. Then I finally felt safe. I sat down on my couch and started to eat. But that's when I heard a knock at my door instantly. My heart started racing. I didn't know who it could be. I walked over to the door and looked through the peephole. There was a man standing there. He was average height, sort of thin, and had brown spiky hair. I didn't know what to do then. I heard him say my name on the other side of the door. He asked me if I was home. I didn't answer him. Instead, I called the police and told them that some guy was stalking me. I went into my bedroom and barely heard him knocking again. I closed the door and waited, hoping that this guy wouldn't try to come inside. He didn't, and eventually the police met him outside of my door. He was told to leave me alone, and I haven't seen him since. I also have not ordered it. That McDonald's for a while. The guy did in fact work there, but he was not working on the night that he went to my apartment. I still can't believe that all happened. It was just a really crazy situation, and I'm hoping that I don't see that guy again. This is something that happened a long time ago when I was really young. I don't remember it all that clearly, but I will do my best to tell the story. I think I was probably about 6 or 7 during this time. My family went to McDonald's occasionally. It was a very popular fast food chain with us. And one thing that my sister and I really liked was the Happy Meals. You would get a small toy with your Happy Meal, and it was really fun as a kid. I remember that. One night I went there with my parents and older sister. We got there, ordered, and then went to a booth that was kind of on the side of the restaurant away from the counter. You couldn't see the front registers from where we were. After we all sat down, my dad went up to get the food and returned with it. A short time later, my sister and I opened up our Happy Meals first and looked at our toys. Then we started to eat. For some reason back then I liked to eat chicken nuggets with a fork. It was just something that I thought was cool. So I got up and walked over to the counter on my own to grab a fork. I assumed that they would be right next to the straws and things like that. Meanwhile, the restaurant was not packed, but actually kind of busy. I remember there were some people ordering and some others sitting all around at tables and booths. So when I got over to the drink machines, I looked around but couldn't find any forks. They had straws, ketchup and sugar packets, but no utensils. I was looking all around that counter, focused on trying to find them. That's when suddenly someone grabbed my wrist. They had a tight grasp on me and began walking towards the door. There were 2 entrances to this McDonald's. One was on the right of the counter, and the other was on the left. The one on the left was literally right behind the drink machines. I looked up and saw this woman who I had never seen before. She was scolding me and telling me not to wander off. I was really confused and thought maybe this woman thought I was her kid or something. The next thing I knew, we were walking out the doors. We got past the first set of doors, and we're in the small space between the next doors, which led to outside. There was a man in that small area who I guess was with the woman. He told me to come on and then reached out for my other hand. This is when my instincts started to kick in a little bit late, but not too late. There was no way that I was going to leave with these people. I did what I had to do. I stomped on the woman's foot as hard as I could. This caused her to let me go. The man then reached out for me, but I just barely got away. I felt him grabbing for my arm and almost getting a grip, but he didn't. I got back in the restaurant and sprinted over to my parents. When they saw me come running, they told me to slow down and asked me what the matter was. I told them about what had happened. It caused a whole big scene. The police were called, and they were at the restaurant for a while talking with everyone. The man and woman had gotten away, and I gave as much of a description as I could, but it probably wasn't that great, to be honest. I never got all that good of a look at them, and it all happened so fast I couldn't tell you what they look like today, but looking back on that, very thankful that I was able to get away from them. I used to work at a McDonald's. This is something that happened during that time. I worked there during my senior year in high school. I was saving up money to buy my own car, and during that time drove my parents' old car. Most of the times that I worked were at nights because I had school during the day. I was a part-time employee who would get like 20 hours a week, if that. So one time I was working from 40 p. to 90 p.m. When I got there, things were pretty busy. At one point, in kind of a break in the action when things were quieter, a man walked in and approached me. I was working at the front register and taking orders. The man did not order anything but asked if I could come out into the parking lot and help jump his car. I found this to be a really odd request. Obviously, I was busy working and I didn't know why he asked. Specifically, I told him that I was sorry, but I could not. The man then told me that it would be really fast and then I could get back inside. I said that I didn't know much about cars because I wasn't even sure how to jump a car. The guy told me that he would show me and said that it was very easy. I suggested that he call his roadside service or something. The guy started to explain to me that he couldn't, but I interrupted him. I said, "Look, man, I'm not gonna leave here. I have to work. Sorry." The guy looked disappointed but finally walked away. He then went somewhere in the back of the restaurant and sat down at a table or something. I thought maybe he was gonna start asking random customers to help them jump his car. I get needing a jump, but to ask an employee who was clearly at work is really weird. For the next few minutes I was busy working and didn't pay attention to where the man went or anything, but a while later I happened to notice him out the window from where I was. I could kind of see out into the parking lot. In some of the spaces I saw the guy getting into a car, which was an older looking gray sedan, and just moments later he drove away. I was glad that he was able to get it, started and leave. I worked for the next few hours and was very busy with customers until probably 8:00 or so. Then things quieted down significantly and it also became dark outside. I kept working until 9:00 and then finally was off and could leave when I got off. I left McDonald's and walked out to my car in the parking lot. I parked kind of on the side of the building at the end that was a little bit out of the way. As I was walking, I saw the silver car again. Said to the man, "I thought you left." The guy said no, he had been there all night. I said that I thought I saw him driving away, but the man denied it. This was very weird. The man asked me again if I could help jump his car. I said sorry, but no. I told the man that I really didn't know anything about vehicles and I didn't even know how to jump a car. He seemed really set on me helping jumpstart his car, but I was really set on not doing it because it seemed way too sketchy. The man then asked me to just come over to his car and that he would show me. I kept walking away from him and said sorry. But no, that's when the man started walking closer to me. He was walking sort of fast and I decided to start running. I sprinted all the way to my car and then got inside. The man actually started running after me. When I got inside my car, the guy got to my front driver's door and tried opening it, but it was locked. He was saying, wait, don't go. I ignored him and backed out. Then I drove away, leaving the man standing in the parking lot. Something was definitely suspicious about him. I had literally seen him driving away and I think it was some type of a setup. I'm not sure if he was trying to kidnap me or rob me or what. All I know is that I'm really glad I got away. I called my manager at the McDonald's on the way home and told her about this suspicious guy in the parking lot. I'm not sure how she handled it or if he left, but hopefully the guy did not cause any more problems. That was my scariest experience from working at McDonald's.